The Night Gate by J.K. Franks. Performed by Stephen Varnum. Chapter 1. Kate Cassidy moved her dive mask higher on her head and stared up at the object in open-mouthed astonishment. Rising out of the sand and driftwood was what looked like, well, a door. It wasn't a door, of course. That would be ridiculous. Still, that was her first thought. She removed a neoprene dive glove and slowly rubbed her eyes to see if it was an apparition. She took several wobbly steps toward the object. The last month had all been too much. First, losing her sister to what she could only feel was the most heartbreaking manner possible. Then, finding out the university where she had been working for nearly a decade was eliminating her department. Single, depressed, and now out of a job, she'd wound up here, an isolated beach on a speck of land in the Indian Ocean. The touristy Maldives was 800 miles away. This area was frequented more by people trying to escape something than tourists looking for scenery. The marine life in the area was spectacular, though. She glanced at her dive computer, wondering idly if hypoxia might have set in. She hadn't been down deep, but maybe the tanks got one of the exotic mixes of air they used for deep-water dives. Sometimes those did make her a bit loopy. She breathed deeply to fill her lungs with good air, just in case. The object was still there. It was less a door than a frame, although the frame was invisible from her viewpoint. The dimensions were easy enough to guess. It was almost 9 feet high and maybe 4 feet wide. She shifted to her left to get a sense of dimension and realized it had none. It was two-dimensional, no thickness at all that she could discern. The door was not closed. It was open. And what she was looking at was a view of another place or another time. It was familiar, but also off. The lighting was too dim. The landscape and plants were off, almost as if the scale of everything was dialed up to the max. Kate approached the thing. She mentally was beginning to think of it as a portal. It gave off no heat, no cold, no sound. The closer she moved, the scene inside seemed to shift appropriate to her mood.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?